American politics can be extremely complicated and they're always very toxic. All right, guys?
Put in a cage. I read about did you say want to a 10-year-old with Down syndrome being taken from her mother?
Pick anything you want out, but the bottom line is very clear.
You?
I'm so glad that the election is over. You have no idea. I don't like seeing campaign ads.
Swamp Captain Mitch McConnell has created millions of jobs for China people.
I don't like seeing anything in regard to the government on the television when I'm watching the tube.
Waterboarding is a federal policy now. Are you going to fluoridate the water?
What about, can you keep us safe from the zombie invasion?
And I'm watching the tube and I'm watching the white-haired man talk to me. I just like to absorb it. I don't like to be interrupted by any political ads. Easy now, relax. Easy now, relax. Have this meatball sub from 3 days ago.
We've all got habits we reach for without even thinking, but what if you could replace that urge with something fresh and delicious? That is where Fume steps in. It is a device leading the way in a whole new category of flavored air. There's no smoke, there's no vapor, just natural flavors you can actually enjoy. Personally, I've been hitting that cinnamon. That's my favorite one, even beyond the crisp mint. Get yourself a refreshing breath of air without nicotine or batteries. Plus, it's fun to play with. It's oddly satisfying. I really like it. You can spin. There's fidgeting potential. There's also the base, the Solano. But the cherry on top is that if you use my link in the description, you can get the Fume topper for free. I actually have destroyed my Fume toppers. I chewed them off. They're these little things that go... It gives you a soft, warm feel. It's chewable. It's an extra fidget. I literally chewed them off like an animal. And if you order a journey pack, you get the topper free. So why not try it? It's cool. Go to tryfume.com/Oompaville. Use code Oompaville or scan the QR code to support the channel. Thank you so much.
Seems like every year we get boring, lazy politicians getting elected. Every 2 years, 4 years, whatever it is.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family.
I like it when fun stuff happens.
Mayo for Sam! Mayo for Sam!
I like it when crazy stuff happens.
Can I go back? Can I go back, please? Bombs bursting, and I got too nervous.
I like watching the world burn a little bit. I'm gonna be real with you all.
Some people see a dumpster fire and do nothing but watch the spectacle.
And there is a guy, by the way, and the guy is who we're talking about today, and I've been wanting to talk about this guy for a very long time. He has been a Batman of American politics for the last 40 years, almost.
Vermin Supreme will take away your guns and give you better ones.
And he does exactly what we've been needing, and that is have fun, get crazy.
Thank you for your support. Sports. Right, Vermin Supreme, friendly fascist, tyrant you can trust. Let me run your life. I know what is best for you.
You've definitely heard of this man. His name is Vermin Supreme.
My name's Vermin Supreme. I'm on the Democratic ticket. I won the election. Apparently there was some sort of gremlins in the voting machines, space lasers, Narnians get involvement, and I'm just here to declare my victory, and then I am indeed the president of New Hampshire.
Yes, Vermin Supreme is an absolute legoid, dude. Vermin Supreme is a legend of New England politics and has been running for political office since 1987 when he ran for mayor of Baltimore. He was born June 1st, 1961 in Rockport, Massachusetts. Mr. Vermin graduated from Gloucester High School in 1979 and moved to Baltimore, Maryland. He booked bands to random clubs. Vermin's foray into politics came in 1986 when he joined the Great Peace March for Global Nuclear Disarmament.
Last fall, when the news hit the Midwest that the Great Peace March was coming to town, some Catholic women religious communities got together and decided they were going to have a Midwest action to meet with the Great Peace March. So the Heartland Peace Pilgrimage is going to take their witness to the Strategic Air Command's headquarters. they'll be trespassing onto the base and risking arrest.
As we mentioned, in 1987, he ran for mayor of Baltimore, and this was his first election. And the only reason he did run was because he was bored of living in Baltimore and needed a project to stay in the city and keep himself busy. He chose an interesting way to advertise his campaign by putting his posters on porta potties, porta potty pumper trucks, and water tanker trucks. The man is a visionary.
Vermin is a great political performance artist in the tradition of the ancient Cynics. The ancient Cynic philosopher Diogenes of Sinope was the famous homeless philosopher of ancient Athens who lived in a tub and would engage in a sort of public mockery that he called philanthropy.
Even when Vermin Supreme lost, as he obviously would, he was spotted at Cape Canaveral posting signs on porta potties that read, "Vermin Supreme is your mayor. I demand a recount!" Also, I will keep referring to him as Vermin and Vermin Supreme because he changed his name legally to Vermin Supreme at some point in the 1990s and has never publicly stated his real name.
Vermin was very shy until his dad left. And when his dad left, he came right out of his shell and he became Vermin Supreme. I mean, hundreds of people come up and ask me what his real name is, and I say I'm sworn to secrecy.
So what exactly does this man stand for?
Hi, I'm Vermin Supreme, and I'm going to take away your guns.
Vermin Supreme will take away your guns.
And give you better ones.
And give you better ones.
And these better ones are gonna shoot marshmallows.
We'll shoot marshmallows.
But they'll still be lethal.
But they will still be lethal.
His policies are f***ing insane. This is a crazy publicity stunt or whatever it is. It's crazy.
My name is Vermin Supreme. I'm a friendly fascist. I'm a tyrant that you should trust. And you should let me run your life. Because I do know what is best for you. Yes, I'm a politician. I will promise you anything your little electorate heart desires because you are my constituents. You are the informed voting public. And because I have no intention of keeping any promise that I make. Vote early, vote often. Remember, a vote for Vermin Supreme is a vote completely thrown away.
Vermin is often called a novelty candidate, which is insulting to me because I believe that this man is our last hope for the country. If you didn't know, a novelty candidate is someone who runs for political office primarily as a form of satire or to draw attention to specific issues in an unconventional, interesting way. A PR stunt. Running is often without the intent or expectation of winning. That is basically what Donald Trump did in the very beginning. Gwen Stefani outperformed his ratings allegedly on The Apprentice. She was on like American Idol or something like that. And then now we're in 2024 and he's our new president and he won by quite a margin. All right, popular vote as well. Pretty impressive stuff. It's wild. Vermin, in my opinion, should not be a novelty candidate.
Everybody wants a pony. The road to Utopia will be paved with the glitter-encrusted skulls of our vanquished foes.
These other candidates like Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, they should be the novelty candidates. These people are goofy. Vermin, he's the one who holds all the answers.
In the vein of energy production, I'd also like to address my harnessing the awesome power of zombies for energy sources. It's not just to run away from anymore. No, we have giant turbines that we're working on, and we will have lots of zombies, and we'll just sort of dangle brains in front of them, and then they will turn the giant turbines, creating energy to lessen the dependence on foreign oil in America here today.
Seriously, imagine if this guy was running the country. What would be, if there was just a crazy movement out of nowhere, out of left field, let's say out of right field. A crazy movement out of right field. All right, guys, everybody rallied behind Vermin Supreme. What the would America look like?
Once we have universal pony ownership, then we will have equity in the ponies that we own. Once we have equity in the ponies that we own, then we will be able to borrow against it. Once we have established pony-based debt, then we can bring in all those very smart people to create exotic financial instruments.
Anywho, to understand Vermin's policies, we have to understand how the way that he dresses influences his politics. Vermin is known to wear a giant black rubber boot on top of his head, which he claims helps him communicate better with the American public. And here's a quote: "It is a boot that has absolute magic that has allowed me to exponentially amplify my First Amendment free speech voice and communicate with people around the world." What? I'm sorry, what? What did you say, old man? Can you repeat that? And say it slower for me. That's awesome. Vermin also wears the boot on his head to combat the media's obsession and expectations for candidates to look and act in a certain way, you know, a society moment. And whenever people from the media ask Vermin about his boot, he tells them the boot is a pile of excrement and that they are the flies that buzz around it.
Where did the idea for the boot come about? You've been doing that for a long time.
Oh yeah, you know, it's just a rainy day in Rainbow Land, and I had a pair of galoshes, and I was gonna put them on my feet, put one on my foot, and then I looked at it and said, wow, what might that look like on my head? And it seemed to fit, and people seemed to react to it, and my foot without the galoshes got wet, of course, but my head stayed dry, and so there you go. Origin stories. Little did I know there was magic in that boot. Magic, I tell you!
Is there a second boot to go with it? Is it a pair?
Yeah. Strange. It's very hard to buy boots a la carte in this day and age. You would think you'd be able to get just one, but no, you got to buy two of them at a time. I don't know why that is. When I'm in charge, we're going to change that shit up, believe you me. Thank you, I'm Vermin Supreme.
He's actually non-ironically sticking it to the man and fighting against big media and big government. I love this guy. He's a absolute legend. He's got cool shirts on. He's a total novelty.
At one point, one of my earliest platforms, which was in 87, included the quip, and of course it was no comment, but disarmament through deployment. And that was my quip. That we should get rid of the nuclear weapons by using them.
Wow. Total spoiler candidate, let's be real. He's the reason the multi-party system's never gonna work, or whatever people say. I'm just parroting stuff that I've heard before. Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? You want Vermin Supreme to win? Candidate?
For president, go find it. Who do you want to win? President.
Stop it. Relax. The boot that Vermin wears on his head also helps American voters identify his political platform. This is very important. You have to have a level of identity surrounding what you're doing when you're a political candidate, your platform, etc.
Please be prepared to have your dental records ready for immediate inspection.
One of his main policies is that he would put a lot of money and time into researching time travel so he could go back and kill baby. It's kind of one of his main points. And, you know, I get it.
I'm the only candidate who is willing to fully fund time travel, go back in time and kill baby with my bare hands before he's even born.
He also wants to use zombies and put them on giant hamster wheels to power the United States and, in turn, lessen our dependence on foreign oil and increase our just general independence overall.
I'd also like to address my harnessing the awesome power of zombies for energy sources. It's not just to run away from anymore. No, we have giant turbines that we're working on, and we will have lots of zombies, and we'll just sort of dangle brains in front of them, and then they will turn the giant turbines, creating energy to lessen the dependence on foreign oil in America here today. Thank you.
Vermin believes that the biggest problem that America faces today is the growing epidemic of gingivitis.
Gingivitis has been eroding the gum line of this great nation of ours for long enough and must be stopped.
And to combat this, President Supreme would put mandatory toothbrushing laws to ensure that every U.S. citizen has extremely healthy gums.
Gingivitis has been eroding the gum line of this great nation long enough and must be stopped. For too long, this country has been suffering a great moral and oral decay in spirit and in incisors. A country's future depends on its ability to bite back. We can no longer be a nation indentured. Our very salivation is at stake. Together, we must brace ourselves. As we cross over to the bridge work, into the 23rd century, let us bite the bullet, and together make America a sea of shining smiles from sea to shiny sea.
Genius! Yes! Sounds a little bit fascist, to be honest. It's bordering on fascism.
Now, friends, some people will tell you that this mandatory toothbrushing law is about the secret dental police kicking down your door at 3 a.m. to make sure you've brushed. Friends, it is not. Some will mention the dental re-education centers or the preventative dental maintenance detention facilities. It's about none of these things. It's not about the government-issued toothpaste containing an addictive yet harmless substance. No, friends, it is not even about DNA gene splicing to create a race of winged monkeys to act as tooth fairies. Friends, what this mandatory toothbrushing law is really about is strong teeth for a strong America.
Once again, I don't actually know. I'm just parroting words I've heard other people who are smarter than me say. Or at least I think they're smarter than me. But I think they use words they don't know what they mean either. He also wants every US citizen to have a pony because it will create more jobs. People have to groom the ponies. Genius! Sign me up!
Do you still stand by your pledge made in 2008 to provide a pony for every American?
Yes, I do, sir. Free ponies for all Americans, one of the overlooked issues in America today.
Plus, it will also once again lower America's dependence on foreign oil. All the methane gas that the ponies fart can be used in clean energy, and the manure can be used on our crops to restore soil health. Regenerative farming is Joel Salatin would say.
My free pony platform is, of course, a jobs creation program. It will create lots and lots of jobs once we switch over to a pony-based economy. We'll also lower our dependence on foreign oil. We'll also be able to turn all that pony poop into methane gas and wonderful compost, so we'll be able to up our soil that is being depleted by agrochemicals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
He also plans to create a federal program where every pony replaces your federal ID. So real ID nonsense bullshit they're coming out with to control us and treat us like sheep, he's gonna give you a pony. Way better. Way better. A lot more whimsical. Way better already.
And of course, the important thing to realize is that it is a federal pony identification program where you will need your pony with you at all times. Thank you very much.
During the average Vermin press conference, he's quite unserious. He often challenges the audience and speaks with a serious tone while talking about things in an unserious way. It's goofy. His ideas and topics are quite goofy.
Of course, my intent is to create one very, very large, expansive pony bubble in the economy. As I'm sure you will all agree, a bubble is about the most exciting thing in an economy at the time that it is occurring. And let me assure you that this pony bubble will be reinforced, will be steel belted, and will last forever.
One time he brought his own mother to a press conference and used her as a transition piece to ask every member of the audience to give up one of their kidneys, as he had for his mother 5 years ago.
I would like to take this moment to acknowledge my mother, who is in the audience here today. Please stand up, Mother. Please stand up. If you can stand up, please stand up. She's going to try and stand up so you can acknowledge her. This is my mother. There we go. And 5 years ago this April, I gave her a kidney. My challenge to you people, everybody on the stage and everybody in the audience, give up a kidney.
All right, thank you, Mr. Supreme.
Another quirky thing about Vermin is that he calls himself a friendly fascist, which would be seen by many to be a relatively un-American, relatively dangerous thing.
Right, Vermin Supreme, friendly fascist, tyrant you can trust. Let me run your life. I know what is best for you.
But he does this as a call out to some of his fellow presidential opponents because he believes that they are actually fascists. Everybody believes everybody's a fascist, it seems like. Except for me, I don't believe anybody's a fascist because I just don't really believe in stuff. I don't really care all that much about your systems, your systems.
My name is Vermin Supreme. I am a friendly fascist. I am a tyrant that you should trust, and you should let me run your life, because I do know what is best for you.
There was about a 5-year period when the earth went silent and Vermin Supreme did not publicly participate in elections, but thankfully in 1992, Vermin graced our ballots again. While his results from the 1992 election are not well documented, it is a known fact that he has participated in every presidential election since then. All right, guys, you got Ross Perot and you got Vermin Supreme. Hey, bud. I just mentioned Ross Perot. She gets so fired up about a spoiler candidate. Frankie's weird. He even attempted to run for governor in Kansas because they have extremely loose requirements to run for governor, though he ultimately wasn't able to run because of the state's citizenship requirements. You have to be you have to live there. You have to be a resident. Vermin has always found some hilarious loopholes and ways to promote his campaigns and ideas. One time, presidential-elect Hillary Clinton planned to make an appearance at a Concord, New Hampshire bookstore to promote her book, What Happened? That book's about her and the Democratic Party stealing the nomination from Bernie Sanders in 2016, or something like that. I actually don't know. I've never read it. In the book, she references one of Vermin's Facebook posts talking about ponies, and Vermin takes offense to this, so Vermin tried to set up a protest outside the bookstore because he believed that the government official did not like ponies enough.
It's a pony parade. It's a pony parade. Pony parade, the people.
However, when he applied to the city to get a protest permit, they rejected it. So Vermin went to a well-known First Amendment lawyer named Mark Randazza, who actually won the case against the city and forced them to allow the protest to occur. And Mr. Supreme still had to pay a $75 pony parking ticket, but was allowed to march with a live pony through the streets of Concord and outside the bookstore with over 1,000 people who showed up.
Ponies! Ponies! Can you feel the ponies?
It's so incredible. It's so amazing. He tried to bring the pony in, but was rejected from doing so. And this was all part of his 2020 campaign.
Okay, this is the end of Prologue 2. That evening, Zira came back to the lab to check on the human prisoner.
So this man might look crazy, but his knowledge of the law is pretty impressive and better than most elected officials, it seems. In the year 2000, the new millennia, Vermin was running as an independent and appeared on stage with John McCain. Sorry, he was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. I'm sorry, I should have done that, but oh well. McCain was campaigning in New Hampshire and Vermin appeared with him, and he made sure to dress up in his normal garb, but also added some extra flair by wearing a big chain and dressing up like a Viking. Legendary! The 2004 election results are the first one that is readily available and with actual good documentation. We know that the man ran as a Democrat and received 149 votes in the Washington, D.C. presidential primary, which isn't that many. That's not that many people. In 2008, he ran as a Republican and received 41 votes in the New Hampshire Republican primary and 43 in the general election. In 2012, he campaigned as a Democrat while also creating the Free Pony Party, which reinforced his ideas of giving everyone free ponies. Exact numbers vary, but we do know that in Iowa, he received 1.4% of the votes. And in New Hampshire, he received 833 votes, which is the most he had received in his home state up until that point. People were starting to catch on to the Vermin Supreme movement. In 2016, he ran as a Democrat and campaigned in 20 different cities. While traveling around, Vermin Supreme had the opportunity to interview both Chris Christie and Ted Cruz while they were at press conferences. He accused Christie of being a pony hater and pressed Cruz about whether or not he thought the water used in waterboarding should include fluoride to combat gingivitis.
Now, where do we stand on the mandatory toothbrushing law? Could you get behind a law about mandatory toothbrushing here in America?
You know, I actually believe in individual liberty. I don't think we need the federal government restricting our freedom.
Thank you, sir.
Waterboarding is a federal policy now. Are you going to fluoridate the water?
What about, can you keep us safe from the zombie invasion? Thank you very much. That was good.
Genius! Genius! Originally, he received 256 votes in the primary, but then switched to the Libertarian Party and only received 1 vote. In 2020, one of the campaign policies was that he would make COVID safe spaces and make COVID illegal. Genius! I'm done, all right? I'm done. Hey, man, I wish I would have thought of that. Make that shit illegal. He should have just done that. Come on, Obama. You should have just made it illegal. Come on, man. As time went on, more and more people learn about Vermin and vote for this man. In 2020, he ran as a Libertarian and even won the Libertarian presidential preference primary in New Hampshire, which is so embarrassing for Libertarians, but also awesome for Vermin Supreme, who'd eventually drop out of the race due to Joe Jorgensen being selected as the candidate or whatever. Joe, I don't know. Who's that? Also Spike Cohen or something? I don't know, dude. I don't know anything about these people. This is just so, I love American politics. It's amazing.
You can vote for Vermin Supreme. Look on the ballot. There's Vermin. I get it.
it has been treated as a protest vote. People read into it, and that's fine because it is what it is. It's obvious what it is.
This is my first real campaign.
The ability of us as citizens and citizenry to really make a difference, to really control our lives, it has been compromised.
Presidential election cycle has turned into a joke, and therefore with love and with spite, here is Vermin Supreme.
Vermin Supreme is an exceptionally unique politician that I believe is very underestimated. He takes all of the seriousness and toxicity out of politics and adds a fun spin that criticizes pretty much all of his opponents. I like it, And that's really what we need running the country. We don't need someone, when we're talking to Russia and North Korea, we don't need, anybody with any sort of diplomatic acumen. We don't need anyone with any kind of understanding of history or intelligence or, we need someone who can find funny loopholes in laws easily, quickly. We need that to be their strength. What's great to see is that more and more people are supporting Vermin Supreme with every election. He seems to take it more and more seriously himself with each election as well, which is interesting.
I'm Vermin Supreme, and I'm going to take away your guns.
Vermin Supreme will take away your guns
And give you better ones.
and give you better ones.
And these better ones are gonna shoot marshmallows.
We'll shoot marshmallows,
but they'll still be lethal.
But they will still be lethal.
And this includes the most recent election where he got the most votes he ever has. The 2024 elections, guys. We're talking about the election. I promised I would never talk about politics in a very general sense on my channel. I believe it's very divisive, and I'm a YouTuber. I'm a stupid YouTuber who makes drama videos. I'm not a go-to source for politics. I don't give a f, and you shouldn't give a f what I have to say about it either. Here in the USA, we take our elections and politics as a joke, okay? No one freaks out when one side wins or whatever. We're a very peaceful nation. We're extremely unified, and nobody divides us or anything like that. That would be the words of someone who doesn't live in America and has no idea what's going on and also is lying and is dumb as shit. 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of hostility, okay, guys, and nobody can get along.
The simple fact is this: we have moved dramatically to the fringes in the last few decades, and it's worth understanding how we got here beyond Trump. Consider this amazing fact: 4 presidents have averaged more than 40% approval from the opposition party. Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, and George H.W. Bush. Imagining that sort of number today is laughable. So when did things turn? Interestingly timed question. It's the impeachment of Bill Clinton 21 years ago, which is broadly cited as the moment our current polarization problem began.
That being said, if you look at elections in American politics, there are genuinely funny, unserious moments that are legendary. I love them. There's a lot of really funny shit, like Obama talking about ribs and pussy.
Gotta have them ribs. And too.
And Hillary Clinton enjoying Cedar Rapids.
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
And then we've got Vermin Supreme.
If you take my photograph and showed it to any child in any crowd and say, what is wrong with this photo? They will say, that guy has a boot on his head.
Plus a bunch of funny, weird Trump shit. Bing, bing, bong.
People like me from previous months, okay? Total control. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing. You know what that is, right?
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of goofy shit. And when you take all that stuff and you put it out there, Vermin Supreme doesn't look too crazy when the most stressful times in American history are coming along.
From the confines of executive powers, what specific practical changes would you make were you elected to the office of president?
That's a very wonderful hypothetical question, and I will say that I will allow it. It has always been my understanding as an anarchist and as a libertarian that the most important and really the only way that we'll be able to disable or get rid of the government is essentially to disengage from the government, essentially creating alternative structures and alternative systems and alternative services, be they private or however they are voluntary. So if I was president, to go hypothetical on it, I would command that. everybody help everybody. It would be an executive order.
For real though, most people do care, even if they say they don't care. A lot of people don't vote, but they still care about personal issues, your job, where you live. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of choices, and there's obviously sides to everything. Are you more of a Wakanda forever?
To the lovely people of Wakanda, I know you will make the right choice. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Or are you more of a moaning while worrying about World War III type guy? Regardless, there's some kind of effect that American politics has on you, so you can pretend to be a mugwump as much as you want, but there is a two-party system in this country, and there's more than two parties. So it's tough to get people to be represented, and that's the beauty of Vermin Supreme. That's where he comes in, okay, guys? 2024 election.
Arg! Victory is ours, matey! Won't you vote pirate this election year?
Vote Vermin Supreme. Vote Vermin. Vote Vermin Supreme.
So now on to the more heavy stuff. The election this year saw a lot of divide in the country, a true split of what the country wanted, yet Biden jumping out of the race. It was up to Kamala to hold the line of the Democratic Party in spite of the sudden change of political running. I think she had like 107 days or something like that, which I don't know. It's the shortest campaign in history. I'm not fucking sure. I don't know anything about politics at all. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone down below will absolutely tell me, but it didn't seem like she had that much time. Plus, Joe Biden, not exactly the most loved president of all time. He's an old man, quite literally dying while everyone's watching there live. He's so old, he should be in a old folks home. I don't know, he's not even that old, really. But he looks old and he stumbles around and he's, chocolate chip. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Be quiet before I elect you for president, you old bitch. So yeah, Kamala didn't have a lot of time, and her policies had to start from sort of scratch as to not completely rip off the Biden administration that she was directly involved in. It's like difficult to say one thing and then you're part of another thing. You know, she was the 27th District Attorney of San Francisco and the 32nd Attorney General of California, and a U.S. Senator from California, which is a lot of experience in politics. Her whole life seemingly dedicated to politics. But 100 days or whatever, I don't know why she lost, but she went against Donald Trump, a businessman fairly new to the idea of politics, aside from being president for 4 years already once. He lost in 2020 and the election was rigged or stolen or whatever people said. And then this time it wasn't stolen, it wasn't rigged or something. I'm not really sure. I've always heard that the only reason he won in 2016 is because of the Electoral College, but this time he won the popular vote. So guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what the is going on out there right now, just in general. And Vermin Supreme doesn't either.
I stand for 4 basic platform planks primarily. They are as follows: mandatory toothbrushing laws. For too long, gingivitis has been eroding the gum line of this great nation of ours and must be stopped. Number 2, of course, is zombie preparedness, and of course harnessing the awesome power of zombies to create energy utilizing the latest in giant hamster wheel technology. Number 3, time travel research, the only candidate who will go back in time and kill baby once and for all. And last but not least, free ponies for all Americans. It is a federal pony identification system. You must have your pony with you at all times. Thank you.
But before Vermin Supreme in the 2024 election, I gotta say, one thing I'm absolutely going to miss about the Biden administration, not to get political, but I'm gonna miss those late night Discord calls between Trump and Biden. Sometimes Obama would drop in, just 3 friends playing the games that they enjoy and just, you know, looking past politics and looking past the divisiveness and just the horror, the despicable horror that's out there that just does nothing but erode our trust and love for one another.
Oh, Barack, we'll need a shovel as well to dig up a grave right after I mine this cobblestone.
Why would we need that?
You'll see. Go ahead, mine it, Joe.
Should I really mine it? I won't get burned, right?
Burning will be least of your worries in a moment, Joe. Just mine it.
Oh,
you
Jesus.
Fucking bitch, you made it wrong,
stop.
dumbass. Just because of you, we have to open the realm from scratch. I hate you, Joe. How are you even the president with a kindergartner IQ level?
However, as I said before, the illusion of the two-party system clouded everyone's judgment, and we missed out on the candidate that really stood for America. Not Trump, not Kamala, but Vermin Supreme.
And won't you join me all in the theme song of this great nation?
Vermin Supreme, as usual, he ran in 2024 for president, okay, guys, and he was up to his usual antics of free ponies. He just needed to preach the good news of his policies wherever he could or can.
Of course, it wouldn't be a New Hampshire primary without my favorite perennial candidate, and again, he is real, Vermin Supreme.
They have all sorts of people listed here who got some votes. Vermin Supreme.
My name is Vermin Supreme.
This platform includes free ponies for all Americans and using zombies to create energy by harnessing the latest in hamster wheel technology.
One of those places was at a Palestine rally. I suppose he thought that was a great idea. During their protesting, he was standing there with his megaphone, trying to start a chant to say, I say free, you say ponies.
When I say free, you say ponies! Free! Free!
They obviously didn't like having the guy with the boot on his head trolling them, but politics aside, that's hilarious. That is such a funny just thing. This guy's been running for president for 40 years and people actually vote for him in every single election. I say free, you say ponies, free Palestine. Stop, Frankie, before I pop your head off your body. Before I pop your head off your body.
Frankie. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Frankie.
Oh, big old booger flew out of your nose. A more successful run of his politics was at the Athens Courthouse in Ohio. He stood there spreading his good news once again. Free ponies, of course.
Everybody gets a pony, and it is a federal pony identification system. You must have your pony with you at all times.
And of course, obviously, friendly fascism with some mandatory toothbrushing.
Also mandatory toothbrushing laws, because gingivitis has been eroding the gum line of this great nation of ours for long enough and must be stopped. For too long, our nation has been suffering a great moral and oral decay in spirit and in incisors. A country's future depends on its ability to fight back. We can no longer be a nation indentured. Our very salvation is at stake.
This man believes he indeed will be the next president of America. And I did too. At the time.
You saw it for yourself. The people came out in droves to support my campaign, and that is why I am going to be the next president of America!
He's truly a man of the people. He'll say anything to get our votes. A vote for Vermin Supreme is a vote thrown away.
I will promise you anything your little heart desires, because you are my constituents, because you are the informed voting public, and because I have no intention of keeping any promise that I make. This election year, vote early, vote often, and remember, a vote for Vermin Supreme is a vote completely blown away.
It's either vote for Vermin Supreme or vote for Hawk Tuah, though, to be honest. I think, what's worse, voting for Hawk Tuah or voting for Vermin Supreme? Comment down below whatever you guys think, you geniuses out there. This guy is a man of the people. He's a genius, a hero, a musician. By the way, yes, Vermin Supreme is a musician. He's made some absolute bangers, but this one is the best, obviously, his banger that he made, and it's incredibly important to the 2024 running campaign. On August 28, 2024, Vermin Supreme uploaded a song called The Cow Song, a song about jerking off male cows.
In the sun, we will milk him in the sun. He's a boy cow, he needs milking, let us milk him in the sun. In the sun, we will milk him in the sun. He's a boy cow, he needs milking, let us milk him in the sun.
He's truly a musical genius who should have won the popular vote. For real though, his channel is a goldmine of content. He's got great thumbnails. It angers me that a future president of the United States, he's gonna run again in 2028, barely gets 5K views a video. It's unfair, especially with the content he's creating and the message that he's trying to spread to the people. His merch as well is a symbol of hope. His long beard and that wonderful boot on his head to remind us that he's serious about all this, guys. You can get him on your tie, on your shirt, a bumper sticker, so many places to rep the future president of the United States of America, 2028. The Vermin Supreme campaign had a good run this year, but he was no match for the big competitors of big government. He's actually seems like a very intelligent, funny individual who understands politics and the ridiculous idea that there's like a, I don't know if it's a ridiculous idea that there's a two-party system. It seems insane, but at the same time, it's like, there's so many people, there's no way it would ever work out any other way. We suck. We're all so. Anyways, Vermin Supreme posted a video talking about an executive order he would make that is to make everyone have to help everyone. You have to care for your friends, your neighbors, strangers, etc.
If I was president, to go hypothetical on it, I would command that. Everybody help everybody. It would be an executive order.
This guy does a lot of trolling, but he tries to genuinely spread awareness for being a good person over politics, which everyone has panic attacks over. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Go to the Gump Club to watch uncensored videos. Go to sour.gg, buy some candy. We release new flavors every single Friday at 3 Central Standard at sour.gg. Go buy there. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you to Fume for sponsoring this video.